It's first day of spring here in Erie, and we're going to expand our garden a little bit this year. We're building some planter boxes. They're 4 foot by 8 feet long, and as you can see, we have 2 of them in our garden right now. I've built one 2 years ago and one last year, and we're going to add a third one this year. To build our 8-foot planter box, we're just going to use some simple materials. I've got 6 2 by 6 by 8s and one 2 by 4 by 8 to build the box. Also, we'll need about a pound of 2.5 to 3 inch wood screws and a circular saw to cut the boards. We used regular lumber to build these boxes instead of treated lumber. It seems to hold up pretty good, and I was concerned about all the chemicals in the treated lumber since we're going to be planting vegetables in our garden here. If it's a flower garden, you may want to go with treated lumber, as it will definitely last longer, but this box behind me is 3 years old and it's held up pretty well, so we're building one box at a time so they won't all wear out at once, and that way when we replace them we'll just be replacing one box at a time. This box that my son Caleb's on is the box is 3 years old, and you can see it's holding up pretty well. So we're going to move back, and we have a second box here that we put in last year, and that one's doing well also. So the plan this year is to add our third box, and we're going to move back another 4 by 8 box in our garden here, and it slightly slopes here, so we may have to build this up a little bit. But we're gonna get the box built, and we'll be back to set it shortly. This is what the bed's gonna look like after we complete it. This is our third bed. We use regular pine wood instead of treated lumber, just because we're concerned about treated lumber for our vegetables. If there's any printing on the outside of the wood, we put that on the outside so the inside's clean. And we will fill this with our composted soil that we've been making over the winter. There's only a few cuts to make. One of them is going to be cutting one of the 2 by 6s in half, so they're 4 feet. And those will be our sides. So we're going to cut a 2 by 8 in half right now, so they're 4 feet long. We're going to put the box together now. Basically, it's 8 feet long by 4 feet wide. We're going to use some 3-inch galvanized screws to hold it. We're just going to build 2 boxes and set them on top of each other to get us the depth we want. You just want to make sure you use a galvanized or exterior screw. That way it won't rust if you ever need to take it back apart again. These are galvanized, but you can use the gold screws also. We built the 2 boxes, so we set one on top of the other, and now we're going to connect them to give us a good height on our planter box. All right, Caleb, push it in.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
So, it should look like this.
Right, Caleb?
Yeah.
The 2 by 4 we got for the projects was going to be for braces. I used a 2 by 3. If you have some small cutoffs, you can use those instead of a full board. We're going to place 2 on the inside of each of the lengths, and then we're going to cut some 2 by 4s for the corners to brace it. So we're going to cut those pieces and screw them in now. We're going to use these 2 by 3s to brace it. That'll stiffen it up a little bit to hold the dirt. I'm just using these 3-inch screws. Probably 2 3/4 would be a little better, not quite so long. These have a Phillips head, but the star head's easier to put in, but we're using what we have here. So Caleb's going to help me put this in. I'm going to hold that for a second. Just hold it here. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to screw these from the outside so we don't have any screw heads on the inside of the planter, keep everything away from the dirt. I marked these in about 2 feet 8 inches just to support it. We're going to have 2 on each side. Got it? We set our new bed here in the garden, and normally if it's level, we'll just set it on top of the ground. But since we have a slope here, we cut these legs a little bit longer to level it out. Go ahead and put the level on there, Caleb.
It's leveled.
It's pretty close, so we're going to drop down here. We're just going to add some dirt along the outside, and then we'll put our composted soil on the inside. You just want to make sure you have enough spacing between your beds so you can get in between. We've got a little over 2 feet, about 26 inches. If you have more room, you may want to make that a wider opening just to give you more space to get through. We wanted to get 3 beds in this area, so that's why we kept them a little closer. But it all has to do with the spacing that you have available.
So this is level now.
We're just continuing to fill our box here that we've built. We've put some compost on the inside. As you can see, there's eggshells and apples and such that's been mixed in over the winter. So we're going to put a coat of leaves on top of this before we add the rest of our dirt.
Right.
Now that we've got a base of leaves in, for more compost, we're going to continue to put our dirt inside to fill out up to a good level to plant. We're probably going to go just to a couple inches below the box, and we'll continue to add soil as needed to keep it well composted. As you can see along the side here where it was dropped down, we added some dirt. We're going to fill this in so we can do some of our outside plants outside the box here in the composted soil. Alright, we're just about ready for planting now. We've added our composted soil. We could probably go up a little higher. We're going to plant tomatoes in this box here. We're going to space them out and plant some smaller plants around it. But whatever you decide to plant, you should have success with a composted box. We hope this gives you a few ideas if you're just starting out with a planter box or expanding your garden. Thanks for watching.